Saudi Arabia and Russia are arguing over the price and flow of oil. That and the fake news is the reason for the market drop. No mention there, of course, of the coronavirus. Let's move on, though, for a discussion of the economy and what we can expect as a result, of course, of the dampened activity from that virus. He says, by the way, it's good for the consumer. Gasoline prices are coming down. Mark Zandi joins us. Mark's true, good for the consumer when gas prices come down. But let me just start with the prospect of a recession. What chances do you think we're going to have one, and how deep will it be?
More likely than not. I'd say the probability at this point are well over even. If you press me, I'd say 60, 65%. I think it's going to be very difficult to avoid a downturn. How deep, how severe? It really depends on the administration and Congress. I mean, the Fed is going to cut rates to zero, and then the onus will quickly shift to the president and the Congress to come up with a fiscal stimulus package. And depending on how aggressive and how quick they are, will determine the type of recovery we'll get. I think under any scenario, though, it's not going to be a V. I just don't see that. I mean, just take a look at what is going on in China. That's a pretty good case study. It's going to take a while before people feel comfortable to come out and get back to work and do all the things that they do. And the travel sector, I just don't see that coming back for quite some time. So even under the best of circumstance, hard to see this being a V-shaped kind of situation. Yeah, well, we have not in any way taken, of course, the steps that the Chinese did to stem the spread of the virus in that country. Unclear that we even will do those things. Of course, there has, as you point out, been a significant dampening in activity as a result of cancellations of so many conferences and other gatherings of people, particularly on the corporate level. Mark, what about the fall in oil prices? Unexpected, I think, is certainly the word you can use today in terms of what's gone on between the Saudis and the Russians, and obviously this supply increase that is going to pushing the price down sharply. It's a benefit for consumers? What are the other impacts we should keep an eye on when you think about it? Well, when you look at the broader economy, it will have no net impact on the economy. Certainly, if you look out 6-9 months, because you got winners. So consumers win, right? You have lower gasoline prices. Airlines get a little bit of benefit from it, from the lower jet fuel prices. So that's a plus. And that plus happens pretty quick because we'll get gas nationwide down below $2 a gallon, and that should be helpful. But obviously it does a number on the energy sector. And because the energy sector now is so large, we produce more oil than anyone else on the planet. And at this point, we don't really import any oil. We're net neutral with regard to imports. So it will hurt those guys. So net, it's basically a wash 6-9 months out.
Hey, Mark, you talk about the lack of a V-shaped recovery. From a corporate behavior standpoint, what is the all clear? What would make a company like Amazon or J.P. Morgan or Nestle go back to prior policy on cross-border travel? What is that key? That's a great question, and that's the problem. I don't think we know. I think the worst thing would be you let all your employees go back doing the things that they do, traveling, going overseas, and then the virus regenerates and you become sick again. So I think corporate managers are going to be very, very cautious and reluctant to allow people to go back and travel and, get back to normal. Even getting back to work may take longer than people anticipate, because I do think corporate executives are going to be very cautious here, and appropriately so.
So what is that going to mean ultimately for job growth in this country, Mark? Cautious corporate executives canceling meetings, working from home. How long before you have to start worrying about what has been a really good bright spot of this economy, job creation, and very few layoffs?
Yeah, I think we're going to experience job loss here. It'd be pretty tough. At the very least, businesses will pause in their hiring. To some degree, it's just practical. Literally, I can't bring people in to interview people. So if I can't do that, I'm not going to hire them. So it's going to immediately affect hiring. And then in some sectors of the economy, there will now start to be layoffs. In the travel industry, tourism, retail, you're going to see, I suspect, layoffs pretty quickly. And then, obviously, if in fact the virus becomes widespread here and starts disrupting businesses, people just literally can't get to work. They're sick. They've got kids that are home because they can't go to school. Their parents are sick and they got to take care of them. And that's going to hit the job numbers. If they don't work and they don't get paid, they're not going to show up as someone employed. So I do think we'll start to see some job losses here over the next few months. Now, the good news is the job market is strong. We have a lot of open positions coming into this. The job market was strong, a lot of open positions, even a labor shortage. So businesses are going to be reluctant to lay off in any significant way because they know once we get on the other side of this, they're going to need people and they're going to have a hard time finding them. So that should mitigate some of the job loss, but we will have job loss in all likelihood.